In this session, I'm going to talk about how to install Red Hat OpenShift 4.x. Currently, we are using 4.11, but the method is applicable for all the 4 series. Okay, and 4.x on vSphere 8 using IPI method. IPI means install provision infrastructure method. And in our lab environment, we are going to install Red Hat OpenShift on vSphere 8, and we are using a shared storage nimble storage, and our ESX host is running on HP Synergy Blades compute nodes. And let's quickly recap our solution architecture. We already completed our pre-implementation steps with the DHCP, DNS, and static route. And vCenter also running in our lab. And we have HPE helper node. Now, when we are start installing, it will create a bootstrap node first, and followed by it will create master node. And finally, it will create worker node. Once worker nodes are created, it will remove the bootstrap node. Okay, that is the reason we mentioned as a temporary node. Okay, so now let's quickly recap pre-implementation steps. We validated our infrastructure vSphere and we configured DNS, DHCP, and OpenShift installer also already downloaded in our OpenShift helper VM. Okay, and during creation of install config, we should remember our static IP address, APIPA, not APIPA. API VIP is ends with 47 and ingress VIP is ends with 48. These two IPs we can use. Now, and implementation procedure, we have completed the how to generate key pair for OpenShift cluster node, and we also established the trust between vCenter and in our OpenShift helper VM, and we have created the working directory and we have extracted the OpenShift installer in our present working directory in a root directory, and create a install config YAML. In our previous session there was an error message due to some DNS resolution issue. That issue has been resolved now. So now quickly create a install config dot YAML file now first. So log into our lab system. So let me connect to the OCP command line. Now, when we connect to the OCP helper VM using SSH session, see the command is same: OCP helper install create install config -dir and OCP CLU. We have to point at our SSH public key and we can choose the platform is vSphere, and we have to enter our vCenter server vcenter01.anpslab.com, and username I have given my name kumar@anpslab.com, and we have assigned the password domain admin password, and now it is connected to vCenter server, and we have choose the data center is ESG data center 01, and the cluster name cluster 01, and data store is nimble data store, and the network also connected, and we have to give virtual IP for API. So API virtual IP we have dedicated as a 47 and 48. If you want to double check, we can just double check from the our IP address. Yeah, 47 for API and 48 for ingress. So let's back to our system. We can assign the IP address 192.168.243.47. That is for API IP. That means cluster API IP VIP. Now enter, and now we have to enter the ingress VIP. So ingress VIP is continuation IP 192.168.243.48. Okay, so now press enter, and it's asking for base domain. Our base domain is anpslab.com. Okay, so now enter, and the cluster name. What is our cluster name is we have to enter our cluster name during the DNS record creation. We have entered the cluster name. That cluster name we have to choose. So cluster name, if you want to double check here, just log into the AD system. What is the cluster name given? The same name we can choose. So let me open DNS mgmt.msc, and here we have given the cluster DNS record, let's say, yeah, 47. If you see, OCP4 is the cluster name. So the same name we can enter now. So it's a OCP4. Now enter and pull secret. The pull secret we can get it from our Red Hat website. So we already pointed to the Red Hat website. We can just copy the full secret from website. Just click on copy full secret. It's copied. And even safety purpose, if you want to keep one copy, you can keep one copy. And you can just open the SSH again. And this full secret, you can just paste it here. Once you paste it here, press enter. So you can see in our recent here it is showing information install-config created in OCP CLU folder. Okay, so let me clear the screen. So change the directory to OCP CLU. That is a folder we created. Or even if you just type ls-l, we have created the folder called OCP cluster CLU, short form OCP CLU, and change the directory to OCP CLU and type ls. We can see install-config.yaml file is created. If you want to review this file, just type cat space install and enter. We can see whatever the information we given until now, all the information this YAML file is created. But one key thing we can observe is this API version is 1, base domain is our actual DNS name, our domain controller DNS name, anpslab.com. This is our actual forest domain, and replicas 3, and also the master node replicas are 3. That means it's going to create 3 worker node and 3 master node. Suppose if you want to modify, we can just va space install -config.yaml and you can modify the master nodes and worker nodes. Currently, if you see here, name is worker and the replicas are 3. That means 3 worker nodes it's going to create, and even the name master it's going to create 3. Master is nothing but it's a control plane nodes. Okay, and networking, it's by default it's chosen the Kubernetes networking. Okay, and it is also configured API VAP, sorry, and cluster name, DNS, ingress VAP, and full secret. Everything is correct, configured correctly. So now it's the time to we can install the OpenShift cluster installation. So to install the OpenShift cluster, as per Red Hat documentation, this is the command OpenShift install create cluster hyphen directory. Our directory is OCPCLU hyphen log level information. So just copy this command and open the SSH session. And now we are installing the deploying the OpenShift cluster on vSphere environment. Just press enter. See, consuming the install config from target directory, it is start obtaining RHCOS. That means Red Hat core operating system image file from Red Hat website. So it may take a while. This complete OpenShift cluster creation may take around 45 minutes to 1 hour time. So I will show you until the last step when it is showing the time 20 minutes or 40 minutes. During that time, I will just stop the session and we'll continue with the next session. Okay. So first we can wait until the installation is creating the infrastructure resources first. We can monitor the status. See now if you see the information creating infrastructure resources. So when creating the infrastructure resources, we can just log into vCenter and verify what's going on in our vCenter level. See in vCenter level, we have only 3 VMs earlier. AD server, OCP helper VM and vCenter. Now it is going to create a OCP4, that means our cluster name, and it is going to create a one RHCOS. That means this is the only we call it as Bastion node. Okay, so Bastion, this Bastion node is like a temporary node only. See, if you see in the recent task, deploy OVF template completed. Whatever the bash node it's created, it's make bash node, or we can also call it as bootstrap node. This bootstrap node, using this bootstrap node, it start deploying the master node. See, master 0, master 1, master 2 is deployed, and after some time it will also provision automatically 3 worker nodes as per our install-config.yaml file. And if you want to monitor the template status also, you can go to the VMs and templates. It's already created one template as well. It's created one folder, and even in the summary tab, if you see, it will also created a tag category and tag also. And expand this one, you can see bootstrap node, 3 master node and 1 template. And worker nodes may take some time to create the 3 worker nodes. Okay. And open the SSH session. See, we can read if you read the information here, creating infrastructure resources and waiting up to 20 minutes for the Kubernetes API configuration. Okay, so we have to wait 20 minutes. Okay, in the meantime, let's back to the slide and we'll talk about some additional points. See, create install-config-aml we completed, and deploy the OpenShift cluster is in progress now. During the deploying OpenShift cluster, it's also creating a infrastructure resources using bash node, or we can say bootstrap node. Okay, so now let's go to the another tab, another slide. See, this install YAML is completed, and now if you try to understand what it is going on in the backend when we run the OpenShift cluster deployment, see, first initially we configured the data in every deployment. We have provided our cluster name, which is OCP4, and base domain anpslab.com, and we pull the secret from Red Hat website, and we also have a SSH key locally. We have both key pair, private key and public key. Once it is ready, we already prepared a configuration file, that is install-config.yaml file, and this is only the ignition file. Using this ignition only, it will create a bootstrap node first, and followed by it will create control plane, that means master node, and followed by it will create a compute nodes. And during this scenario, we also need our infrastructure. So our infrastructure is vSphere infrastructure, and we also have a vSphere infrastructure local domain administrator privileges. We are using my account, Kumar account, and customize for your workload. So workload customization, we already given a default configuration, that means 3 master node and 3 worker nodes. And another point, so this step is we validated from our SSH session. And another observation is during the cluster creation, see, bootstrap node is already created. If you verify from here in our vCenter server, see, the bootstrap node is already created, but this is only the temporary node. Using the bootstrap, we already noticed there are 3 master nodes are already created, and these master nodes are running with a OS called RHCOS, that means Red Hat Core Operating System. So we have control plane 1, control node 2, control node 3. That means master 0, master 1, and master 2. And after that, using one of the master, it will create a 3 compute nodes. Compute nodes, another name is worker node 1, worker node 2, and worker node 3. And this procedure is common when we are running on-premises data center, or you are running on a cloud environment. That can be a private cloud, public cloud, or any of the hybrid cloud environments. This procedure is same, but here we are only using the infrastructure platform is vSphere. Suppose in your organization, if you are trying on another platform, the procedure is still the same. Okay, so now this step also we validated. And configuration, bootstrap is cunning with RHCOS, control panel also RHCOS, and compute node, either it is the RHCOS or RHCL version. And the configuration, generally the basic configuration with vCPU 4 and memory is 16 GB and storage is 120 GB. So 3 master node, 3 worker nodes means approximate disk size is close to 1 terabyte. Okay. and this portion also we validated, and configuration information we can see from vCenter level. Log into vCenter server and select the master node. You can see the configuration for CPU 16 GB and approximately 120 GB. Why we have additional is there is also a swap size also. Okay, and even the same configuration for master node 1, master node 2. Okay, so this option also validated. And now if you see in our steps implementation procedure, we created the install config.yaml and the deploy OpenShift cluster is in progress, and we are monitoring the creating infrastructure resources using Bastion node or Bootstrap node. That portion also completed. It's currently almost in progress. It's clearly given the instruction. We have to wait for some time. Okay, so monitor until the OpenShift cluster is completed. So with this all these steps, 8 steps, the implementation procedure is completed. And finally, we have to do the post installation steps. This post installation steps or post implementation procedure includes we have to access the OpenShift cluster using web access. That is one method, and another method is we can access OpenShift cluster using CLI method, command line interface, and then we can deploy the applications and the production cluster is ready, or we call it as a enterprise grade Kubernetes platform is ready for the end users. They can run their production application, specifically cloud native applications. And whenever additional resources or additional application is planning to deploy, we can also scale out our worker nodes. These all the steps is involved in a post implementation procedure. So post implementation procedure and accessing the web console and command line and all, I will show you in the subsequent video. Okay, so let's quickly log into our lab system, and before closing the wind up, we'll just quickly verify the current status. If you see from the SSH session, it's saying still we have to wait for a 20 minutes, and after 20 minutes again it will say to wait for another 40 minutes as well. Just 12:53 a.m. Now the time is 12:40 a.m. So 13 minutes. Okay, we can wait for 13 minutes and we'll observe what it will happen after 13 minutes. Okay, and also the infrastructure resources wise, Bootstrap is created and master nodes also completed, master node 01, and using this template it will also going to provision a worker nodes, but it may take some time. The backend still some processes are running. And the pull secret we already copied, and as I mentioned, the pull secret is works only within 24 hours. Suppose during the installation, if you want to hold your process, you want to continue in the following day, better to download the new pull secret, because pull secret applicable only within the 24 hours time frame. Okay, and currently SSH session we'll see. Okay, still we have 12 minutes time. In the meantime, let's quickly recap what are all the steps, commands we used. See, our action plan is Red Hat OpenShift 4.x on vSphere 8 using IPI method. So let's quickly understand IPI means install provision infrastructure method. And within our action plan, we already prepared initially with the complete IP list. Okay, and with that IP list, we already verified the internet access, and we have a vCenter server in our lab, and we have 3 SXI hosts, and we configured networking, physical networking as well as virtual networking using standard virtual switch. And the storage also we configured the shared storage. Even if you want to install, if you have a local storage with more than 1 TB or close to 1 TB also, we can deploy this provisioning on local hard drive as well. That option also available, but generally in the production environment we should go with a shared storage. And Active Directory is recommended, and DNS DHCP also plays a key role because all our OpenShift records is created on a DNS, and specifically the two static records we have to create API VIP and also the ingress VIP. And the DHCP also we created a 11 IP address, we created one DHCP scope, and we have configured one Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8.6 helper VM. Using this helper VM only, we are initiating the OpenShift cluster. Okay, and IP's inventory we prepared already, and within the DNS server, we validated our /etc host records, and within our vCsa vCenter server appliance, we have validated the DNS record. But previously in our previous session, there is some DNS configuration issue. That one sorted out now, and we have downloaded the certificates from vCsa, and we have securely copied those certificates to our helper VM to establish the trust between vCenter server and our OCP or OpenShift Container Platform helper VM. And we have to, whatever the uh, certificates we downloaded, that must be unzip and copy to the desired location like etc pki ca trust source location. Once it is copied only, we can update the ca trust extract, then only it will start establishing the trust between OpenShift helper VM and vCenter server. And after that, we created a one working directory, and working directory now I just changed it to OCP4. Okay, because I also have another cluster that is running with the same cluster name, so that's why I changed it to OCP4. And we have whatever the binary files we copy to helper VM, those binary files we have to extract using tar space xvf command. And once it is extracted, we can copy to the /user local bin according to the readme file. Okay, and finally we can create the install config yaml file. Once this yaml file is created, if you notice the yaml file configuration, it clearly says default recommended configuration is 3 master node and 3 worker nodes. And finally, we created the OpenShift cluster. Command is OpenShift installer, because that is only the binary we downloaded. And the command is simple to understand: create cluster hyphen hyphen directory. Whatever the directory we created earlier, the same directory we can choose. And the directory, actually OCP4 is the cluster name. Directory name I change it to OCPCLU. And hyphen hyphen log hyphen level information, it will shows all the information logs during the installation process. So we have to wait close to 45 minutes. See, now if you see that time is changed again, API is up and waiting up to 30 minutes for bootstrapping to complete. And in the meantime, we'll verify from vCenter server level, are there any changes? Let me refresh. So bootstrap 3 master is created, and worker mode still it may take some time. So 30 minutes. This information I will just keep it and I will monitor. See, the next update will be around 1:13. So that means close to another 30 minutes. So instead of waiting, I will pause the video here, and later I will show you the continuation process and also the post implementation procedure. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you. If you're watching this video first time, please do view, like, share, and subscribe to the Gnan Cloud Garage channel. If you're already subscribed, I appreciate all your support. Bye for now.